5 seconds to go. Start. Section 226 of the CRPC, over a period of time has gone, in oblivion. Stop. Our understanding of the provision of Section 226 of the CRPC is that before the court proceeds to frame the charge against the accused, the public prosecutor owes a duty to give a fair idea to the court as regards the case of the prosecution. Stop. Para. This court, in the case of Union of India versus Prafulla Kumar, 1979 3 SCC 4, considered the scope of inquiry a judge is required to make while considering the question of framing of charges. Stop. After an exhaustive survey of the case law on the point, this court, in paragraph 10 of the judgment, laid down the following principles, para, that the judge, while considering the question of framing the charges under section 227 of the code, has the undoubted power to sift and weigh the evidence for the limited purpose of finding out whether or not a prima facie case against the accused has been made out. Stop. Para. Where the materials placed before the court disclose grave suspicion against the accused which has not been properly explained, the court will be, fully justified in framing a charge and proceeding with the trial. Stop. Para. The test to determine a prima facie case would naturally depend upon the facts of each case, and it is difficult to lay down a rule of universal application. Stop. By and large, however, if two views are equally possible and the judge is satisfied that the evidence produced before him, while giving rise to some suspicion but not grave suspicion against the accused, he will be fully within his right to discharge the accused. Stop. Para. That in exercising his jurisdiction under section 227 of the code, the judge, which under the present code is a senior and experienced judge, cannot act merely as a post office or a mouthpiece of the prosecution, but has to consider the broad probabilities of the case, the total effect of the evidence and the documents produced before the court, any basic infirmities appearing in the case, and so on. Stop. This, however, does not mean that the judge should make a roving inquiry into the pros and cons of the matter and weigh the evidence as if he was conducting a trial. Stop. Para. There are several other judgments of this court delineating the scope of court's powers in respect of the framing of charges in a criminal case, one of those being Deepak Bhai versus State of Gujarat, 2019 16 SCC 547, wherein the law relating to the framing of charge and discharge is discussed elaborately in paragraphs 15 and 23 of the reply, and the same are reproduced as under, para. We may profitably, in this regard, refer to the judgment of this court in State of Bihar versus Ramesh Singh, wherein this court has laid down the principles relating to framing of charge and discharge as follows. Stop.